So we are live now.
Are we live yet? I don't know. Are we? Oh, it's right at the back as well. It's right at the back. Right at the. Oh man.
Thank you.
It's still saying. No worries. Is it still saying? It's still saying off air on mine. Oh, there you go. Now it says we're live. Yeah, right at the back, man.
So the 1 week when I get to host the show, and by the way, welcome to A Cup of Tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana. Oh no, it's definitely not, because I've got hair, so it's definitely not. Actually, my name is Mark Searby. The 1 week I get to host the show, and Leonard is picking his nose.
And eating it.
And eating it.
No, I'm not.
Disgraceful. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. It is hugely appreciated. You know, we are now 3 days, 15 hours away from San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm still here in London. I'm hosting everything. So if it all goes wrong, it's still Leonard's fault. He's given me the instructions. That's it. But then, obviously, on the ground, an Englishman in San Diego, but he's not in San Diego. Where are you, Leonard? Where are you?
Yes. Yeah, the title for this hangout is complete nonsense, isn't it? Yes, you find me in Anaheim, as you can detect by the signage behind me. First and foremost, before we do continue, I do want to thank Mr. Dan Berry, who is in the back there. He's providing us with a bit of internet coverage at this point, because the internet out here on the ground floor, certainly for my mobile carrier, is a bit pants. So thanks to Dan, we're able to bring our live report from D23. I also was hoping that we were able to do a live report from inside the convention center. I got here about an hour ago, but at that point, it was looking particularly mental when it came to the lines. Shall we get into a full report, or do you want to do a bit more of an intro?
No, give me 5 minutes, man. Give me 5 minutes. This is not my first rodeo. Hang on.
Your moment in the sun, man. Go
exactly. Yes. Well, we'll come to you in a minute then, Leonard. But also, yeah, so an Englishman in San Diego. Well, he was in San Diego. He's now in Anaheim. He's now going back to San Diego soon, so that's confusing. Alyssa Franks from Friends of CC Forum is with us, as every week. Alyssa, you're not where you normally are. Where are you?
I am in San Diego, too. I am not in Anaheim. I am staying in the El Cortez Hotel, which is no longer a hotel, and massively enjoying myself. Yesterday, I went and saw the Kaya experiment, which was massive fun. They did Caroline. And a couple of other movies, Stopgap Animation. They had all of their puppets there, and that is open early. If anybody arrives in San Diego before the crowds arrive, I suggest going over there. I'm also going to go see the IDW Comics Museum later on today.
Awesome. So you're already on the Comic-Con path then, basically.
I am. I'm the lazy path. I think I get to bed early and wake up early because I'm still on East Coast time. Just wanted to give a shout out to Aaron, saying hello, and I am doing my SDCC set. Leanne, he is joining us, as is Under the Capes. Thank you. She says specifically, thank you to Leonard for all the D23 coverage. That's great.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But just going back to you being there, Alyssa, did I see a picture of you outside some sort of pub or something like that with your friends drinking the other day?
Well, there may have been a few drinks involved. Yes. There was a tiki bar. There's a tiki bar, which I would highly recommend, next door to the Blind Burrow in San Diego, which has these horrendously fashionable, banana drink, very fruity drinks, which I would recommend. And also there was I think one of the pictures you saw was the Lockheed experiment too. So, and I know I'm terribly mispronouncing that, and forgive me, but it was wonderful.
Excellent. So you're all ready to go. That's excellent. I'm almost ready to go. I fly out tomorrow, so I will be there by Tuesday. But we should probably go back to.
He's going to be hip. Yeah, he's going to be hit by jet lag for 2 days. He's going to be of no use to man the beast by Wednesday or Thursday.
You're going to have to pull me around, Leonard. There's no two ways about it. You're going to have to pull me around. So we should go to you then, Leonard. You're at D23 Anaheim. It's Sunday there. It's almost wrapping up. Well, you've got a full day, I guess. But how's it been for you? First time as well.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, sorry, I've just been informed of the way that they're doing the line management. Like I say, we do have, if I can just flip the camera for a second, just to give you a sense of what's happening outside. This has been, or this is outside of the convention center in Anaheim. The final crowd is being funneled through from the main drive in between the two hotels, the Hilton and the Marriott outside. We're now at just after 10 o'clock and, well, what is it, 10 past now? And everyone has basically been going down the side of the convention center to the arena, to the badge pickup, and then they've been funneled down, and badge check, and then up and round. Now, that's all going to get sorted out with food trucks, and everyone's just going to get filtered from there directly in. In other words, they're going to be doing this really quite sharpish. That's what I think has been really impressive. I personally think the line management has been very impressive here at D23. I know there's been a number of articles being posted online regarding just the sheer numbers and what the locals and the people who have attended D23 in the past have felt has been poor line management. But I personally think that it's more just a case of D23, which isn't a con. It's not a convention, it's a fan expo. It's more a celebration for Disney fans. Except we now have Disney involved, Marvel involved and Lucasfilm involved, which basically means this particular fan expo has been getting a taste of the Comic-Cons. It's a case of the numbers, the lines, the overnight camping. It really is kind of adding all of that to the equation, and the locals haven't been too impressed with that.
So, okay, let's start with the bad thing then, Leonard, because I saw some of your videos. You slept on a concrete floor under some blinding lights with music playing 24/7.
No, not just music. Disney films, and let's have the 4 films in order, shall we? That would be Zootopia, that would be Beauty and the Beast version, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Finding Nemo, Dory. And then Rogue One. Finding Dory, sorry. And then Rogue One. Rogue One with all those space battles at 3 o'clock in the morning through a distorted speaker all night. Hall H is going to be a cakewalk after this. It really is that kind of thing. The lights are on, the aircon was on full tilt. It really was like Stockholm Syndrome torture. It's very, very loud. Oh, yep, sure. I'm just being asked to move across. So we're going to move across. Hello there, how are you? Oh, we're getting joined by all sorts of people. I'm certain we're going to get a bit of a review of our experience. But no, that camp out sequence of underneath the Anaheim, I kind of got informed about this. Oh, okay. We kind of got informed about this when it was done, Star Wars Celebration was done here. And it was a very similar setup for those attendees.
Oh, right. Okay,
sorry, I'm getting... Okay, so we'll find a corner. We'll find a corner. We're good here. Okay, so sorry about that. We're kind of moving out of the way as people are being funneled in to the convention center, as you can see at this point. So yeah, I think they're actually going to get everyone in pretty damn sharpish. But yeah, last night was hard work. People started lining up for the live action panel on the Saturday, which was the first presentation in the Hall D23. And they started lining them up around, people start, the unofficial line started around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, at which point then people were funneled into the downstairs of the convention center around 9:30, at which point the torture began, which was always fun. But the one thing that I'm really impressed about this particular expo is the positivity. It really is the Disney vibe. You are Absolutely. It's a small world after all. It's lots of jolly, happy campers. Yes, there are one or two kind of frustrations, and certainly the crowd management inside can be a little bit awkward because of sheer lack of space with the amount of fandoms that people are showing up. Booth, for example, is a particular nightmare, especially when you have talent on stage. The way that they've been managing those particular crowds has been slightly awkward. But all in all, I personally think it's been, certainly as someone who's done San Diego Comic-Con, it's been a brilliant experience. It's very much about Disney in terms of going into the macro level of the parks, of the classic Imagineers, of the design of Disney, the animation, in much the same way that Star Wars Celebration really gets into the macro level of that galaxy far, far away. This is what Disney do. But it's been, for myself, an interesting experience. And yes, that live action panel was something incredibly special. What I did quite like as well is the benefit of the taking away of your camera to put inside a bag, which meant nobody knew what time it was. And therefore, when they turned around and said, oh, we've got 10 minutes and then we're going to start the panel, and 20 minutes goes by, you didn't really know because you had no sense of time. You couldn't check your phone. You couldn't check what time is passing. So you could tell that that's some very clever maneuvering on their part. But we're joined here by a couple of people who have joined us. Hello there, Mr. Joseph Cole. How are you, sir? Very well. Excellent stuff. Once again, Mr. Dan Berry, who's providing us with our internet, and Corgi Commander, who is known to many in the Comic-Con community as a good friend to everyone going to Comic-Con. We also have Caroline, but she's too busy taking pictures of cosplayers at the moment. So let's talk to everyone here. They're not going to hear your response, but I will relay them. Then again, do you have any questions? Do let us know.
Well, the question there, Leonard, the question I was going to say is, what's been your favourite moment? Before you ask everybody else their favourite moment, what's been your favourite moment?
My favourite moment has been just prior to the live action panel starting. They did start bringing in a number of VIPs in, including guys from Lucasfilm, from Pixar, from all sorts of pieces. And one person that got a lot of attention and obviously was spotted thanks to his delightfully colourful shirt was the Disney creative officer and pretty much the boss of Disney, Mr. John Lasseter, who walked past the front of where we were sat. I shouted at him, "Love you, John," caught his eye and put my hand out to shake it, at which point he came back and shook my hand, and I was a happy bunny for the rest of the day.
Will be for the rest of the
and will be for the rest of the holiday, because yes, I got to shake John Lasseter's hand and he shook nobody else's hand, and yeah, happy bunny. Oh, so there you go. So, I spotted a celebrity there.
Oh, God.
Yes. Hello there, sir. How are you?
Hi.
Excellent stuff. You have a fantastic event, sir. Excellent stuff. We run a ComicCon website, and we do a live show, and we're doing mostly about San Diego, but obviously as we're feeding into it, so we're going to do our San Diego news pretty soon. Would you mind jumping in, just talking about D23 really, really quickly? How are you, sir?
So far, so good.
Excellent stuff. How has been your?
This is my first day. I haven't even gone inside yet.
Wow. Okay. And what's your attendance today? What are you being up to inside? Because I'm certain that
I'm here as a fan.
Really?
Like,
you're not getting dragged up on stage?
No. I'm going to be getting my hands on some cool Marvel, Star Wars, Disney merchandise.
That is a busy booth.
See some of the exhibitions.
Cool. In that case, have yourself a fantastic day. Cheers. Take care. Excellent stuff. So there we go. That's I mean, really is a case of everyone as a fan attending the show. It's fantastic. So let's go one at a time then. What's been your D23 so far?
Actually, Leonard, if I could, Corgi Commander wanted to know if you were able to get into the Disney store.
Have I been able to get into the Disney store? No. You have to be here very early on, and you have to be in the line pretty much from the word go. It's hardcore. That, to be honest, that's the one thing that we've noticed, certainly with the lines that have been forming, that when we've gone down, usually when it comes to Comic-Con lines, it's a case of getting on the exhibition floor generally, or getting into a ballroom 20, getting into a hall H. Here, it's one line, and the store is the focus. To get into that one square footage, it's very much the same kind of bedlam that you've got at Star Wars Celebration for their kind of merch store as well. So it's that kind of chaos. It's controlled chaos. It is controlled chaos. So yeah, what's been your highlight so far?
It's definitely been that. You know, I haven't done a lot of walking before, but I've seen tons of amazing statues. I don't know if anybody's seen a picture of the children of Thanos, but they've created a Marvel booth. But there's some amazing statues there in an exhibit. But that panel just blew my socks off, and I'm still reeling from it.
Yeah,
I can't really think of anything that would top it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's grabbed a lot of attention online. I know a number of the pictures in the gallery has gone up, certainly of the cast showing up for Marvel. And yes, what did seem to be an endless parade as they just brought up everybody. Obviously, that's kind of referenced with the amount of characters you're going to have in Infinity War. But no, Kevin Feige was definitely the one to kind of showcase and bring up all that. Although I'd say as a live panel, just generally, I mean, I think it's the amount of content. But one thing that you definitely learn about D23, because it is a Disney Expo, it's not necessarily just a panel. It's a presentation. It's definitely a show. I went to the animation panel, and when you have 50 cast members coming out, giving it the full mariachi, as Benjamin Bratt is on stage singing live the song from Coco, it's the big show. You had the panel for Mary Poppins, and you had, is it Alan Menken? Alan Menken on a stage section behind Canberra. The actual composer of the film, with a full orchestra playing the music for the teaser trailer. That's something else. That's a whole other ball game. That's something completely different. When you have the maquette from Dumbo coming out, which was something. Yes, the baby eyes. That was something else.
It looked like those eyes would blink.
It was. It did really look quite realistic, didn't it? It was very impressive, and for myself as well. I think a number of people are aware that I am not overly sold on the whole concept of the regurgitation of the Disney classics canon, the live action sort of reimagining of these films. However, and I also wasn't entirely convinced as it started. They did the opening section to Lion King, including the full sunrise and the full song and all the animals, you know, the gazelles turning their head and all of that, and you're just going, okay, so they just CG'd the film. What's the point? And then Simba comes on screen, and you fall in love. And it's this cute little thing, and his eyes, and he sneezes, and he's yeah. And you okay, you kind of get it. You kind of get it.
High shaped wheels were deafening.
Yes, yeah, there was a lot of people. Ian did. Excellent stuff. So, I can hear it. Yeah. To be honest, there was a lot of emotional moments like that, especially, say, for example, in the Star Wars panel when they referenced Carrie Fisher as well.
I was crying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people got choked up by that.
Didn't get choked up, crying.
Oh, cried, tears streaming. Are you sure that wasn't sleep deprivation, though? Yeah. No. For me, it was a lot of sleep deprivation.
I'll own it. He cried through quite a few of the panels, like trailers, but I will actually own it. I did actually cry for the Star Wars one.
Yeah. So there we go. But I think obviously a lot of people are very excited and interested about Infinity War and what Marvel brought. At the end of the day, this was 40 minutes, half an hour of that presentation, which means for the full hour and a half at Comic-Con, it's just going to be expanded. We're going to see the footage that we saw here at D23, which, by the way, is mind-blowing. It starts with a 10-year recap of this amazing 16 series of 16 films leading up to Infinity War. To be honest, I was a bit surprised that they just went straight to Infinity War. That they didn't touch Thor Ragnarok, they didn't touch Black Panther. It was all about Infinity War. So obviously that the remaining parts of that is going to be covered when it comes to Comic-Con in a couple of days' time.
You gotta say something.
You got to say something.
For San Diego, otherwise it's just gonna be terrible.
Absolutely. But yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, we're going to try and get in at some point to show you. I may just kind of let you get off and do a bit of the rest of the news, and we'll try and get in. If anything, so I can give you a sense, certainly of the chaos around the Marvel booth.
Well, we've got a couple of comments. We've got a couple of comments coming in. Leanne D is sympathetic to your overnight, and it sounds like a nightmare, as does Sarita P and Angela Copley. Angela Copley says hi. Andrew English sounds like a new form of torture.
It's the fact that they didn't dim anything down. They didn't turn the aircon off, or I mean, if you're sitting on concrete, that's what you sign up for. That's
right.
What exactly. But the fact that they didn't turn the televisions down, the only way or the only reason they turned the television down around 12:30 when we were camping there is because somebody had a heart attack in section C and they needed a bit of quiet. What? That's the only reason, and then they turned it back up again. So no, it was relentless.
That is one thing that I appreciate Reed Pop at Star Wars Celebration for. It was a similar situation in Orlando. The first night they had a live DJ at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the feedback was less than happy about that. And the next night they didn't have anything. So they learned and they turned on a dime. And I'm just kind of sad that Disney did not do that.
Well, I will say that you are looking a lot of cast members around, so everything's organised relatively well. It's just those elements that kind of, at the end of the day, it's the commitment you put in to attend those particular sections. Oh,
absolutely. You know, it's what you got to go through. I did have some questions. I was confused about what happened. Okay.
That is possibly the cleverest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yes, nice.
That is so okay. That I may just have to
definitely need a power pack for that one. I did have a question about what happened with the animation panel. I heard that there was a big kerfuffle on, I think it was
Friday? The animation panel was that was I mean, that's the big news. I mean, actually, who here would probably I've just given you the earpiece and stuff and everything, but who here would probably have the best perspective on the animation panel? You didn't go, okay. Basically, it was along the lines of, because of the way that they organized the lines for it, people were shut out. Certainly when it came to gold members as well, to get into the panel. And at which point, obviously, you can understand a lot of people very frustrated, being sent round the wrong direction. They had been pretty much misguided as to where to go and where to line up. At which point, they did kind of redress the balance by handed out wristbands for the live action. First people that were kind of shortchanged if they waited around, because it was kind of the way it was organised. It wasn't a case of the way it was organised. It was just a little bit of miscommunication, and they did do their best to.
So it was basic line management issues for the animation panel on Friday that caused the problems with having like two lines. Or
what was that? Sorry.
So it was miscommunication on the line management, or they had two lines for the animation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was only a small amount of miscommunication, but it affected a couple of hundred people. And it's one of those things that a lot of people have blown up to be quite the mountain out of the molehill.
Well, it takes one person to kind of follow.
Sure, absolutely.
How did that affect? How many? You said we heard that there was about 1,000 people that got wristbands for the live action panel.
No, I wouldn't go that far at all. It'd be a couple of hundred at least.
Okay.
It wasn't that manic.
To
be honest, though, when the miscommunication happened, people did kind of, or the majority of people did kind of stomp off, angry and frustrated, understandably. But a couple of hundred that did stick around to try and get some balance redressed. It was a case of, oh right, okay, we're going to give you the wristbands for tomorrow's panel.
Persistence,
absolutely.
Leonard, let me ask you about these bags. You were talking about them briefly. So what's the deal with these bags? Because obviously we don't get them at San Diego. We don't get them anywhere else. How do they work? What do you do with them?
Bags?
Yes, to put your phone in.
Oh, so that's like the security bags. Right. Basically, everybody is handed a silver-lined bag. The idea is that before you even go into the hall, you're provided the bag. You have to put your phone inside the bag, at which point you then you don't remove it. You are checked as you go in to make sure that the bag is sealed, at which point you are then pretty much cut off from the world. As people did notice when I went in for the animation panel, my social media went dead for an hour and a half because I was inside the room with no way of communicating. Right. One or two people did kind of sneak their phones out of their bags, but it was only one or two. You may have noticed some rather sneaky pictures being taken from the back end of the Infinity War panel. But certainly as the panel wrapped up, everyone ripping out the phones out of the bags too. Spread the word of what they'd see.
In terms of security, these guys are no joke.
Absolutely
San
not.
Diego Comic-Con, D23, it is night and day. Oh yeah, they definitely don't want you sneaking any information out. They put that phone in the bag, and if you take it out, they're going to ask you to leave. You're probably getting booked for the day.
Well, I mean, the actual flyer that gets handed out as well is that if you are spotted using your phone, that phone is theirs.
And their quotation says, "We find you doing naughty things, we will discipline you."
Oh yeah. Well, to be honest, being disciplined by a 5-foot rodent, I have no problem with it. It's been a dream of mine for a while. Yeah, by these guys, the big security guys, yeah, they're not messing around.
Does it work well? Do you think it works well? Could you see it going to San Diego?
I would have no problem with it. I'm not going to lie, I would have no problem with it. The only reason why it would kind of not work with San Diego is because you have that section in the middle of each panel. That's a moment when people can catch up, find out what people are doing, because at the end of the day, they clear the rooms out for each presentation here at D23. At San Diego, that would be an issue, because to cut people off for the duration of the day, I don't think we'd go down spectacularly well.
In general, San Diego is not going to put the effort into that, because this is a dedicated service staff for Disney. This is their security guys. This is their loyal employees. When you go into San Diego Comic-Con, a lot of the elite security staff is hired. They're there for a job. Half of them are not going to enforce that. It would be very difficult for them to do that. Yeah.
Right. It's also that San Diego doesn't clear rooms. And no. D23 does, so that,
Admittedly, you also have less content in that regard here. You only have 2 panels per day. In, say, the Hall D23, you also only have a couple of, 2 or 3 panels in the arena. So, yeah, it's less content like that, but then again, it's also very focused content. Today, you've got a celebration of Lion King. I'd like to see how that's going to be. I think that's going to be quite busy, and I think that's probably going to be the big draw of the day. That's what most of these people will find out. That's what people at 5 a.m. to do that. There we go.
Andrew Dickinson says that he's going to post the restrictions for us later on. Andrew Dickinson, so that we'll get, we can go through them in more detail. Okay. All right. So what's on tap for you today, Leonard? There was one panel that I was interested in, was the there was a panel on an older artist that was happening later on today.
I'm going to check out. I'm going to try and check out at least a couple of panels. But the idea is that you also can apply for a stage pass for a couple of the panels, especially in the arena. The idea is that you line up, but at least you are guaranteed of a seat.
LineCon.
Absolutely. LineCon. The inside it is lines upon lines. There are a lot of lines involved. But I think for us that have been to San Diego, been to LondonCon, that are aware of how that works in a modern convention, it's the D23 people that are just going, hang on a second, is this how conventions are nowadays? I think they're just kind of being thrown by that element of it. I think that's what it is. But no, I'm definitely going to try and try a couple of panels today. I'll check out that animation panel.
I've got a question then for you, Leonard. Do you think it's value for money what you're getting?
That's a good question. That's a good question because you can't deny this is an expensive event. Yeah. Is it value for money? Yes, because if you are a hardcore Disney amount of stuff to see if you are a hardcore fan. I mean, yeah. Tell you what, do you mind if I swap your earphones? I'm going to bring someone else. So I'm going to bring someone else. Well, first thing first, what's your thoughts? Take it very quick.
Well, in terms of some people pay $2,200 for the full ticket, yeah, and I do not believe they got their money. I mean, I don't have it, so I can't really comment that much. But in terms of my pass, yeah, you still get the Roland are signing
the thing for Infinity War, yeah,
and you get to see so much for what was $200, something like that.
Sure.
It's worth it for me.
Yeah. It's a good thing. Mr. Jason Coe, call your commander into the conversation, see what he thinks of this. The question that we've been asked is D23 value for money? It's a good question.
What are you going to the D23 for? If you're a true Disney fan, I think it is worth it. The exclusives are only here unless you want to find them on eBay. I don't think we're going to see that performance at
the live action show, the sense of spectacle. Yeah.
That was truly a once in a lifetime experience. The live orchestra.
Very quickly as well, the live animation panel, by the way, and the reason why I actually chose the section that I sat in, which was section A, is because I was at the back of the animation panel and I noticed that all the incidental music as they were walking guests on and walking guests off, that wasn't being played through a CD, that was a goddamn orchestra left. And what? That's just, that level of production is just a from this event to San Diego.
Yeah, but I definitely think it's worth it. Become a gold member, pre-buy it if you're going to buy it. I think you save about $100.
Yeah.
I paid $163 pre-order. I think it's what? 3-day pass. I think it's worth it. Just going just to see what it is Sunday or Friday. And from there, and it's only every 2 years, so it's not like you're having to do this every year.
Sure. I mean, let's look at the time very quickly. It's now 10:30. And they are still lining people up. I mean, the 2 years ago was the one that people really complained about so lining up very early up in the morning and not getting in till noon. We showed up on Friday morning at 6 o'clock. They opened up the doors at 9. We got in for 20 past, half past, something like that.
The 25 past?
Yeah.
Quick. This is going to be a little bit longer. I think they didn't do the internal queues like they did on Friday and Saturday. So everyone's out on Cattell and Harbor. Probably gonna hear a lot of angry tweets.
Sure. But certainly, when it comes to that question about value for money, if you are not here for the exclusives, that's a different question. I think a lot of gold member people will feel shortchanged purely because of the amount of gold members and just that sense of the Comic-Cons that has infected D23. Which has transformed this, but still, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of energy.
I still want to check out the history of Pirates. There's usually like an hour wait for that one.
There's an hour wait for that one.
But it has everything to do with Pirates, the movies, attractions, TV shows from the past.
Will it have Blackbeard's ghost? I'm sorry, but no one ever talks about that film. And they should, because it's a classic right up there with the Cat and Herbie. You see, this is the lost years.
There's a lot of stuff from the Disney archives in there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Cool. Any other questions?
Leonard, I do have a couple of questions from the chat. Crack 11974 is asking whether or not you think whether or not D23 has stole the thunder from San Diego Comic-Con this year.
No.
With their
no.
panel?
It's two separate events. Because of the security standing in the live action panel, no one has seen that stuff. It's only the people that are in the room. So it can't steal the thunder. It can't steal the thunder.
You're kind of breaking up, Leonard. One follow-up question.
How full they make the stage at San Diego?
Bad signal, Leonard. I'm not getting anything.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, hang on.
I did have one follow-up question, is whether or not they thought, if you think that they're going to release the Infinity War trailers after San Diego.
Good question. I would say no. I can't see them doing it. I think they're going to keep it just for the cons.
You might get Black Panther or Thor Ragnarok exclusives, but I think that's how they're separating it.
You won't get the Infinity War stuff, I don't think, not online.
The way they cut it too, it was behind the scene, a montage.
Yeah. It was definitely a two-part. The first half of the first 10 years. They may release that.
Those were all the questions that we had from the live chat. Just commenting on your signal breakup, which is kind of making it a little hard to understand what you're trying to say. So I did want to say a quick shout out to everybody who's traveling today, tomorrow, and on Tuesday, just to have safe travels. And I know you're heading back down, Leonard, you're heading back down to San Diego tomorrow. Are you planning on seeing Disney, the park tomorrow at all, or gonna do anything between now and then?
We've lost you. No.
On Monday.
Monday, yes.
You are
we'll let you get off and do the rest of the show.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Leonard. Awesome. We'll see you at some point. He's gone already. Oh, that was nice of him, wasn't it? Listen, disappeared already. Well, I mean, we might as well move into SDCC. You know, we are 3 days, 15 hours away now. You're already there. So, you know, you and Leonard have gone through the panels. You've pieced it together. You've picked it apart. You've done everything for it. There now. Obviously, there's tough choices. Have you had tough choices?
Brutal. Thursday is absolutely brutal. And everybody keeps throwing stuff in at the last minute. So, of course, I get the press room invite that I've wanted for, like, you know, that I followed. 12 Monkeys is the one that I'm really interested in. And I get that today. And it's in the middle of everything. So I have to rearrange my Thursday schedule yet again. It's like, why can't something happen on Friday? That's, you know, I'm looking. And Leonard is back.
Yes, we'd like to apologise for that drop of signal. Basically, we were being provided with a Wi-Fi hotspot by Mr. Dan Berry, who vanished. He disappeared somewhere. He just wandered off. Wandered off without telling it. Wandered off without telling us. So all of a sudden the signal just dropped. So that explains why. But Jason is now providing us with a bit of a Wi-Fi. I still want you to join in at some point. Guys.
Okay, can I say, everybody who sees Dan Berry, give him a hard time about this, about just wandering off.
We're going to give him, right.
Totally.
I've decided, what we're going to do is we're all going to do a little bit of a thumb war, and we're going to decide who's going to slap him, and then he's going to do it. Who has the bigger hands? So there we go. So now you were talking about Comic-Con Friday?
Yes, briefly. We were talking about actually how busy is Comic-Con on Thursday for everybody. That's my crazy day.
It's pretty damn busy, actually. I mean, the lineup's quite strong. I think the only day that's really let me down is Sunday. There's a lot of little panels, but maybe not enough to really kind of
Strong programming.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, absolutely solid as a rock. I mean, I think the more I think about Saturday in Hall H, it's devastatingly powerful is that lineup. That's just a solid setup. But then you get across the board. I mean, Ballroom 20, Indigo, pretty much rock solid. No, it's this. I think it's going to be absolutely a Comic-Con for the ages. It's just going to be one of those epic ones we're going to just be talking about for years to come. And I think the one thing that I've been speaking to a lot of people here, and what they've been really excited about, is the fact that everything's changing. Everything's kind of shifted a little bit. It's like the ground under their feet is just slightly off kilter, which means that it's new and it's really exciting. You know what I mean? It's bringing it fresh, and everyone's just going, oh God, so but Nerd HQ's not here, and Sci-Fi's doing something else, and Carnival's somewhere else.
All the veterans who got complacent and comfortable, they're like, oh.
Right. You see,
do you know what? I completely agree with you on that one, Leonard. I really do think that it is narrowing it down.
1 second, Mark.
Oh, yeah, it's evolved. Full H every year it gets more and more difficult, and people are more dedicated to being there. In terms of the ballrooms, I'm not exactly sure.
Ballroom 20's lineup looks strong. I missed it.
Okay. So, Mark, you were talking about something there, go on?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, but this year I think it's changed because all of a sudden, much like what's happened throughout the year, where we've had everything late, we've had badge sales late, we've had hotels late, everything. I think secretly CCI are throwing a curveball and making sure that it's only the hardcore, the real hardcore, who are going this year. And then they're even going further by saying, right, okay, look, we're still changing it now. So if you really want to stay with us and stay with us throughout the years, you've got to evolve as well as us.
Yeah, go along with that. That sounds...
I'm not sure it's a plan on their part. I think it's just...
I don't think it's a plan either. I think that's kind of just a natural evolution,
Yeah.
I think that's just a natural evolution, not only of the programming, but also the kind of the fandom landscape as well. The way that television is... I mean, the television stuff this year at Comic-Con is unbelievable this year. So now I think it's more a way that the fandoms are evolving, and therefore Comic-Con itself is evolving naturally, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that the excitement levels are higher this year than last year, the year before, or anything else like that? But a question for both of you, I guess.
That's a good question. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let Jason answer that first. Go for it.
What was that question?
The excitement was, is the anticipation just as strong as it?
It is. The anxiety's been up there just because we have D23 beforehand. So it was a taste of the lines and everything, but it's up there, yeah. Especially with Netflix coming. They switched around the Hall H and Ballroom 20 stuff, so I'm really excited for it.
Sure.
And on all the offsites and after parties, our night times are filled.
I mean, for myself, it's been interesting because we've been paying attention to the UK attendees group, which has been remarkably quiet this year. They haven't been as amped as in previous years, and we're trying to work out if that's because of new members, just unsure about what the group is actually all about. I'm just curious. To be honest, I just want to get there. I just want to get this up and running and see. I'm personally jazzed for this con. For so many reasons.
As an added strain as well with Conan. Conan has become a very big thing to look forward to nowadays.
Yeah. And the way that they've also, I mean, sure, you're going to be talking about this as well. The fact that the Saturday show is now, it's 2 shows on the Thursday. I think that's got a lot of people talking as well, because I personally have tickets for the Thursday show, the one which is at the moment film cast to be announced. And now we're just wondering what the hell that could possibly be. That has just off the back of what has appeared here has really got people excited about what could be showing up at Conan. I think it's going to be cool. Tell you what, we're going to get off and get inside.
Sure. This morning we did get announcements for what's happening for the sci-fi for Zach Levi's show, the sci-fi show. On Friday we're going to get Alan Tudyk and Karen Gillian, And then on Saturday, which is the lady from Atomic Blonde and the Doctor Who people, which will be interesting. That I'm just thinking about surprise guests at Conan.
Well, people have taken the Karen Gillan news that we are going to be getting her on stage for Infinity War. They've also been talking about a surprise mega Doctor Who panel, which I still don't think is going to happen. I think it's all going to be about Capaldi. Who knows? That's the thing. Who knows? We don't know. They just, I love it. If we knew everything, before she got there, what would be the fun in that?
Yeah.
I will say that just to anybody who's doing parties on Thursday night, it is absolutely crazy with the amount of parties that have been announced this week and the amount of parties that are happening Thursday night. That it's close. Saturday night is good. You know, there's a few select parties, but Thursday night is not all of them. It's like
well, the thing is, all the parties got announced as either I was flying or on Monday when I was trying to relax. So I've missed them all. We've got no invites to any parties at all. However, I mean,
I may be able
there's enough to do.
Yeah, I may be able to come up with one or two that I'm not going to. My leftovers.
Leftovers.
Just take it as a time to recharge for Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
No.
I think that's the case.
No. Yeah. Sleep is for newbies.
Sleep. True. But you know what?
You sleep the rest of the year.
Let's put it this way. After that night down in the convention center basement, the sleep last night in bed,
it was like I was on a cloud. It was so good.
I went to sleep at 9:30 last night. Woke up at 9:30 today.
Same here. We had a lie-in. We felt we earned it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to get off. We're going to enjoy the rest of this and let you talk about the rest of the news. We'll see you in San Diego, guys.
Excellent. Thanks, Leonard.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Now, was that just me, or did it kind of look like they were all in the Mafia and bearing down on us as if we'd done something wrong? They certainly looked like they were about to beat us up, I thought. You know.
I don't know.
No, they all look very muscly in that picture. I was thinking, oh, blimey, I think I've done something wrong.
Well, the sun, that's one of the things that I noticed coming from the Northeast was that the sun is, while the temperatures are not hot, it's humid, and the sun is just very intense. So be prepared for anybody that's coming in from other areas that it just plays with your mind a little bit. We do have Neil Williamson who joined us and saying is good afternoon. Neil is not coming to San Diego. And yes, I'm taken to pointing that out. Super Cat Chick says Thursday evenings are bonkers. There's just way too much to do. Aaron Nevelis, the SDCC Fit, is saying, what should we do to Dan for leaving the wife?
Maybe everybody could chip in for like a large Starbucks and just we can all throw it at him or something like that. It will cool him down as well, I guess. So that's not too bad. Yeah, if we all chip in $1 or something, that would be okay, I think. But yeah, going back to those what we were talking about, the tough choices, Alyssa. You were talking about Thursday and Friday. What about Sunday? Because obviously Leonard was saying it's a little bit sparse for him. What about you?
Sunday, I don't have that much happening on Sunday, to be honest. That's kind of the day when I'm going to catch up and probably do some floor shopping. And as I'm bringing up my schedule here, because I finally got it into my Google calendars with all of my schedules and was able to import everything. And that, to be honest with you, is a really nice thing. The Talkback panel, the Kirby panels. I may go to the Stephen King panel, the Mr. Mercedes, but it's that type of a thing. Then we have there's going to be a couple of meetups afterwards. So if people are looking for something to do, there's usually people that you can get together with and cry in the beer. It's always, it's always depressing leaving everybody. So that's the thing. I am most interested to see what's going to happen with the sci-fi live show. That's the one where they had promised that we were going to not have to stand in the sun, and Zach Levi is hosting it. So we have had hope that it would be better after the horrendous show last year. I'm planning on going on Friday. Fingers crossed. The Thursday show, and I guess I'll just wait to see what happens on the Thursday show from people. But it's broadcast at 11 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So we'll see what is happening. What are your plans? I know you're doing press for Leonard. Do you have any big events that you're looking forward to?
It's all a big event, isn't it? This is the thing. But it's tough choices all the time, apart from Sunday. Sunday is quite nice, something in the morning, then a couple of clashes in the afternoon. But it is very much, well, we can do that, or we could do that. It kind of depends. I mean, the last panel that I've got earmarked has Terry Crews there, and I'm like, hey, that would be cool to see Terry Crews. But it's also clashing against something else. So there are all the tough choices. It's Thursday afternoon and Friday that are the tough choices for me. It's going to be very difficult. So somewhere along the line, I'm going to have to make those choices, but we'll wait until the last moment, probably. Yeah, other than that, I haven't really got much else booked in. The evenings I've got free at the moment. Every single evening I've got free because I signed up for a couple of things and then they didn't pan out. One of them, obviously, Team Alpha, who mistakenly sent out this link, and it went out on Twitter and everybody signed up for it, and then they turned around and said, oh no, you weren't a member, so we're cancelling yours. You can only get it if you're a member. So I think there was a few issues there, but yeah, I haven't got anything else planned. But then I'm staying at a hotel that's got most of the parties happening, so I'm hoping that I might be able to tap somebody up for 2 free tickets. I don't, who knows? So
or just wander in. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talking about, if you seem like you're part of the group, then you are part of the group.
Yeah, I've heard this. Do you know what you saying that on obviously on the Friends of CC forum? There is a lot of people saying the same thing. I accidentally wandered into this party 2 years ago, or I found myself here, and I'm thinking, well, just maybe. So, listen, we don't condone going to a party without a ticket. You shouldn't do it. It's very naughty. But at the same time, if you can accidentally walk in looking like you own the place and it works, what's to stop you? What's to stop you?
Oh, I just, the person who, Michael Leventhal, who just posted on the live chat saying, Alyssa, I can make Friday afternoon very simple for you if you no longer want your Conan ticket. Okay, I now have a conflict on Friday, which I completely forgot about. So this is what my week has been like. Karen Sessions, let's see, Crack 1197.4 says, Karen, let's see, Karen, going back up. Where is the FOCC meetup on Tuesday? We have a general meetup that's a wide open thing. Just show up if you're interested in talking with other people and are going to be in town on Tuesday at 4 p.m. It's in front of the Hilton Bayfront Starbucks. Just, it's just geeks talking to geeks and, getting, if you want to be social, you're welcome to come. It's very, very low key. You're welcome to bring a bag of chips or something like that. Well, and yes, that seems to be it. Crack helps Leanne find it. And so,
I mean, we've talked about tough decisions. We're not going to do the panels or anything else like that. Let's just talk about top tips. 3 top tips, Alyssa. What would you say you know, most people are flying out over the next couple of days. What do they need to ensure that is in their suitcase, or they at least get when they are in San Diego before it all kicks off?
You're hitting me out of the blue with this.
Yes, excellent.
Yes, totally out of the blue. Flexibility. That's the top of my list. I think you really, given the fact that of the amount of things that are happening, you have to go with the path of least resistance. And unless there's something that you want to put on your must-do list, but only put, you know, like four things for the entire week on your must-do list. Crack says portable power pack. Yes, so that was one of the things I forgot, and I have another one being delivered to my hotel on Tuesday. Oops, it happens. You know, Amazon Prime is wonderful. So if you forget something on Monday, you can have it by Wednesday. That's my second tip. Let's see, sunscreen. An umbrella, sun umbrella. That's my third tip. There you go. And
that was going to be one of mine, actually. Was yeah, definitely that. Comfy shoes. Comfy shoes.
Oh yeah.
Because you may think, don't worry, I'll be sat down all day. No, no, no. You won't be walking straight into a seat. No. So comfy shoes, absolutely. I go along. I also talk to everybody. Everybody is open to be spoken to. You know, if you see a line, make sure that you go over and ask, what's this line for? Because you might end up somewhere that you didn't think would happen. I know a couple of times I've been in a queue and thinking, well, where is this going? And then it's ended up being something that's been really interesting. Or you end up finding that actually this is the end of the line and there's only about 20 people in front of it, and you think that can't be right, but it is. So definitely talk to people, because everybody's open to talking.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I do that outside of cons now. I see a queue and I automatically just ask, hey, what's this line for? You know, just because you never know. I mean, we did that someplace recently and just ended up getting in line and having a great time. One other thing that I want to just bring up this company here for my chairs. These guys are about £1 or so, very small, very compact. They're the nicest chairs. If you do have an opportunity for still to get something, Amazon, having a small portable chair that you could throw in your backpack is wonderful.
I'm always amazed that companies who are exhibiting at San Diego Comic-Con don't do free chairs or don't give out certain things. I remember about 3 years ago, one of the companies, I think it was Fox, did this strange seat that you could sit on that was made of cardboard, but it flattened down and it had all of their branding on. And that's the only time I've ever seen a branded seat there. I always think that's the perfect market in there. Everybody has, let's say, a Fox seat. Well, there's going to be about 1,000 people in that line. Here you go. Here's some seats. I mean, that's perfect marketing. So I don't understand why nobody doesn't.
The seats that people have given out have been heavier, and they're harder to pack than this guy. That's why I always come back to this particular chair. This is about £1.50, £1.50. They did give out, I think Teen Wolf gave out some 3-legged chairs, and I have a lot of guy friends, and I kind of say there's a problem with those 3-legged chairs that I don't know about. Okay, just saying. So there may be some comfort level. Or Cracks 1197.4 is saying MTV gave out some nice folding camp chairs a couple of years ago.
There we go. There we go.
So
yeah. So at least somebody.
And then
no, but yeah, I'm always surprised nobody else does it. It seems very odd to me. It's the perfect marketing, but then, hey, we don't know what they want to do with their marketing. They want to spend it elsewhere by putting posters up on the bayfront or something like that instead. So That's the way it goes. But yeah, so, well, we are almost there for San Diego. One thing we should mention, because obviously it's going to be at San Diego, it's going to be in Hall H on the Sunday, is Doctor Who. Do you watch Doctor Who, Alyssa?
I do. Oh, I haven't been watching it. It's the last season is stacked up on my DVR. I've got to finish watching it because I've heard it is so great with the character development and the eventual, the fact that Capaldi is leaving. And so I was stunned this morning when we heard the news. What has been the reaction on your side of the pond? I have to ask.
Well, I have to say, it all seems very positive. You know, you're always going to get a few people who, oh, I'm not watching it anymore. It's ridiculous. And, you know, it's the same time and again. People were not going to watch it because it was Peter Capaldi. And now it's the same. I'm not going to watch it because it's a woman. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. As long as the writing is strong and as long as she's a great actress, that's it. But the majority, 99% of everybody talking about it has been very, very positive. We all know her here in the UK from being basically a TV actor. She's ventured out into films and doing other bits. She was in Attack the Block with John Boyega a couple of years ago, which is a very, very good sci-fi film. I saw her in a couple of other films. I'm trying to think. One Day I saw her in. I think she was very good in that, but she has been mainly in TV. She was in Broadchurch as well. So it seems like a good choice to me. It really does. And also I believe that she's already friendly with a lot of the writers. So there was always going to be that natural fit because they know how to write for her already. So it seems like it's a good choice over here. What's it been like with you?
Good. The feedback that we've been getting, I talked with my editor, Kevin, Doctor Who 42. So big Doctor Who fan about the events this morning, and his reaction was very, very positive, and the reactions that we've been hearing from other bloggers have been very positive. One of the interesting things that he said is that, having been familiar with Broadchurch also, that he feels as though she really has the chops. The acting chops to be able to carry the characterization and the character development of Doctor Who forward. So he was really looking forward to it. And I have to say, I'm glad that they can play with the gender issue in a fun, and because I believe that within the Doctor Who universe, it will be within a fun way. And I'm going to really enjoy seeing that because it's fun to play with those he, she, what am I, wait a minute, all of those kinds of jokes. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think I will definitely tune in.
I know that obviously Leonard mentioned it before he disappeared about Doctor Who being in Hall H and a few people saying, will she be there? I'm in agreement with what Leonard said, which was it will just be about Capaldi. They want to send him out on a high. Clearly, from what everybody has been saying, he's really rescued the show in this last season that's been playing. So I think it will just be him. I'd be very surprised if she is there. Thoughts?
I do have a question for you. What do you know what the association is, or if there is any, between the Sci-Fi Network and BBC America? The reason why I'm asking is because Zach Levi has the Doctor Who folks on his sci-fi show on Saturday, and just wondering if there might be some bleed over there.
Not that I'm aware of. There certainly isn't any relation here in the UK that they have. But then BBC America is a very different beast compared to, obviously, BBC One, BBC Two here. So there could be some sort of small relationship. Yeah, it's a good question. I have a friend who actually works for Sci-Fi, so I'll ask him, see if there's anything, and let you know on that.
I mean, it would definitely be a coup for Zach and the Sci-Fi Channel for that show if they could get the new Doctor on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It would really set the stall out for them. It really would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think she's going to come. I still think it will just be Capaldi. Which I must mention, I saw him in the week. I was walking down the street. and I just turned to my left and thought, wow, this gentleman is quite tall. He's got massive hair. And then I realized this is Peter Capaldi. So I took a photo, like a sneaky photo, and put it on Twitter. And then all of a sudden, everybody was going crazy about it and sending me messages saying, oh, did you ask him this? Did you? No, he was going off into a house. Not going to ask him that. But yeah, he was just there wandering about.
That's wonderful. Let's see, Crack 11974 says Broadchurch has 3 doctors now. Tennant, David Bradley, who's taking on the first Doctor in the Christmas special, and now Jodie Whittaker. And so Karen Sessions said she saw the photo.
It was a sneaky photo. It was like that. I was just to the side. Okay, don't look like you're doing it, but you are really doing it. And then look at the screen to make sure you got it as well. I was just hoping he wasn't going to turn around and catch me doing it.
Oh no, dreadful.
But it was fine. But yeah, so it's all good here. It seems to be good from your side of the pond as well. So it looks like there's a lot of positivity for this choice.
Absolutely. I would say that. Also, a lot of positive feedback on the WB bags with the inclusion of the pins that have happened. A lot of trading is, and you know, the usual movement, but I think it's like a little bit more intense than it has been before. So that is another thing that's happened this week. When do you travel? You mentioned earlier, but I've forgotten.
Tomorrow morning, UK time. So I will be landing in LA around 5:30 West Coast time, 5:30 p.m. So yes, I'll be in LA for one night and then traveling down to San Diego Tuesday.
Ah, wonderful. Wonderful. Are you traveling down on the train?
Yes, we did the train a couple of years ago because we went to Anaheim and we just sat there for the whole 2 hours looking out the window and thought, we have to do this again. There's no two ways about it. So yeah, we're coming down on the Amtrak.
It sounds. I also flew into LA, and just wanted to mention that there is one other option for non-Brit folks of a one-way car hire. Rental. I was able to get a car for about $100 to go straight from, and I know that was kind of expensive, but my flight didn't come in until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I knew that it would be horrendous trying to get a train down because of how things had worked. My planning was poor. So there is that option too, but I'm kind of jealous having seen the train as I was driving down. Those views it follows the coastline. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible. I just wasn't aware of it because obviously when you leave San Diego, it goes inland slightly, and then all of a sudden you just pop up and you're like, oh, we're actually on the beaches now. We're actually on the beach, and it's incredible. You think, well, it's going to turn off at some point, but it doesn't. It just keeps going. I mean, wonderful views. It really is. I mean, anybody who hasn't taken it really should take it. It's fantastic. It's a really great experience. It's just one of those things that you don't believe is actually happening, but it is, and you're on a train seeing it all. Yeah, it's great. I really like it.
Anything else, or do you want to do weekend television?
Go for it, Alyssa. Go for weekend television.
We've got 2 weeks. Actually, what we're doing is we're combining the next 2 weeks in television because we're not going to be able to address it the following week in our post-con episode hangout. We're not going to be able to talk about the weekend television because we're just fried. So the highlight, of course, for tonight is, how are you going to watch Game of Thrones if you're already in San Diego? That is my burning question because my condo where I'm staying does not have HBO. So I think I've got something figured out, but that is the big event, and a lot of people I know are going dark for that time period when Game of Thrones airs tonight. Do you get it at the same time?
Yeah, we have.
Mark?
Yeah, we have a simulcast at 2 a.m. here in the UK. So if you're in the UK, you can record it. It's on Sky Atlantic, but then they also broadcast it at 9 p.m. UK time on Monday evening as well. So it's kind of like this. If you don't record it at 2 a.m., you can wait till 9 p.m.
Are you going to stay up until 2 and watch it?
No, I don't do that. Absolutely no. Do you know what though? I will record it, and then when I get up tomorrow morning before leaving the house, I will watch it. So because I know what'll happen, I'll turn up in San Diego, and everybody will be talking about it, and I won't have seen it. I'll just think,
absolutely.
Great.
I mean, there's nothing like watching, you know, a hardcore science fiction, you know, or fantasy or something intense first thing in the morning with your first cup of coffee. It's just, it sets the whole day up wonderfully.
Yep.
We do have 2 reports of spin-off series that are going to be happening at some point that are under development. So we haven't, even though the show is ending, we will, you know, in the next season or 2, we won't, hopefully we'll still be part of the 7 Kingdoms. I just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody is thinking about that. We also get The Strain tonight is returning for its 4th and final season. The promos I've seen for this are pretty intense and really kind of take it up to a different level. Doctor Who, Kevin did an recent interview with Cass Anbar, who plays Sanjay, who plays in a Cass, and he talks about that pretty in depth. So you may want to take a look at that before, if you are a Strain fan. It's one of those series that I haven't kept up on. I still need to watch the rest of season 3, but definitely like the post-apocalyptic feel to it and hardcore vampires. So we do the sci-fi, as I mentioned a few times. The sci-fi is going to be airing 3 episodes from the 3 shows that they'll be doing. Conan will be taping his shows, so you have to check your local time for when those are happening, and absolutely record those, set those to record before you leave for San Diego, and or if you're not coming to San Diego, make sure you get to tune into those to watch them. Let's see, and then there is the big thing about Shark Week. Discovery Channel has got a gazillion shows on all sorts of sharks. Sharks this and sharks that. That's happening, but the one last show that I wanted to mention was Midnight Texas is also airing this week. This looks pretty good. I'm really kind of looking forward to this. This has been in development for a while. However, it kind of has that real almost preacher feel to it. Have you seen anything about that, Mark?
It's from the books by Charlene Harris, isn't it?
I did not know that.
I'm sure it is. Charlene Harris, who wrote True Blood. I'm really sure it's from her. I had seen a few bits, but nothing over here yet. But I believe somebody has picked it up here in the UK. So I'm interested to see what the buzz is out of the US on it. Yeah.
I think they're getting some sort of a play at San Diego about it. So that's there. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out for a new show from last week that aired called Will. This is the kind of punk rock young Shakespeare show. And if you like the Elizabethan time period and are into that kind of time travel-y stuff, this is fun. I saw 2 episodes of it, and it's fun. And I have to fully admit, I am a Shakespeare fan. I went and saw King Richard III last night with a gentleman from House playing a lead role in it, and it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. So I am a Shakespeare fan, but if you do like Shakespeare, I would definitely, it's not too deep. it presents it in a way that's not heavy on the English. So most of us, I suspect, can understand it without having to employ our Shakespeare side of the brain that goes on. So that's, I don't know if you would manage to catch that one at all.
I haven't heard of it at all, Alyssa, actually. But bizarrely, you mentioning Shakespeare and it being quite tough to get into, and obviously you seeing Richard III. There's a fascinating, and I'm really sorry in advance for doing this, but there's a fascinating documentary about Al Pacino trying to get into Richard III and trying to make a film about it. It's called Looking for Richard, 1996. It is very, very funny. Very funny. There's a moment where he comes over to the UK and he's talking to some high schoolers about Richard III, and the camera pans over and there is a couple at the back just kissing and ignoring Pacino completely. I mean, it's so funny. It's a fascinating documentary, and it's very well done into helping you go into the flow of Shakespeare and how even one of the world's greatest actors finds it difficult. So, you know, if you struggle with Shakespeare, you know, even here in the UK, we all struggle with Shakespeare. It's very difficult, but that is a worthwhile documentary. It's also mentioned in this book. Sorry. It's also mentioned in my book, Al Pacino, The Movies Behind the Man. There is an interview with a gentleman who was in the film as well. So, yes, sorry about that. Just a slight detail.
You had to, absolutely. I mean, I got my Shakespeare insults cup last night with A Mountain of Mad Flesh and Light of Brain are, you know, perhaps my two long tongue babbling gossip you are. So I'm, you know, I'm practicing. I'm getting ready for San Diego with my cup.
When did this show go from being about nerds to being about Shakespeare? Wow, we've really classed it up since we got rid of Leonard, haven't we? We've really classed it up. Yeah.
It's about good writing. It's all about good writers and writing. Just to catch up on the Q&A, Neil says he has to go. Have a great con. Get me all my free stuff. Sarita P. Well, everyone that's traveling, have a safe trip and a wonderful con. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron Nebulous, maybe you can subscribe to HBO Go for a month on Amazon Prime. I think I've got HBO Go already, so I think I'm all set. But you know, there's always that it's that planning thing. I have not been doing planning well. So.
Well, if you don't see it, Alyssa, don't worry. When I see you in the week, I will act out the entire hour episode for you. I'll play every part. It's fine.
Okay. Sounds good. It sounds good. Andrew English says Midnight Texas is going to be in the UK on the 27th of July. So you'll get it at the end of the month.
Cool.
So that's good.
Cool.
Long-winded way of saying that's the end of weekend television.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Anything else? I'm all out. You?
I think we're all done. We're going to not be having a show next Sunday. There's going to be a wrap-up show, I believe, on Monday. I think, Leonard, if I'm recalling correctly, and I'm remembering, so forgive me, we're something about having it at the rooftop of the Andes. How'd you hook that up, Mark?
You've got to know people, Alyssa. You've got to know people. You've got to grease the wheels, shall we say? No, it was just by chance. You know, I mean, it was just something that sort of popped up, and I thought, well, we'll see what happens. So, yeah, so next week's show, we're not here Sunday. It's going to be Monday, 11 a.m. West Coast time, I believe, 7 p.m. GMT. I'm apologizing now. I don't know what that is on the East Coast. Alyssa, you might know that.
It's at 2. Apparently, it's a new day and a new time. It's a special show. So, and because we need an extra hour of sleep, and I totally agree.
Yeah, so I've spoken to Leonard about this. He's put on the post on his website that there is going to be special guests. I don't know who these special guests are, so I'm as much in the dark as everybody else. I don't know who they are. we wait to see. And if there's no special guests, we can throw him in the pool.
Oh, yes, you and me, we can do that. Totally.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We'll do that. And this is for all of what we've had to
what we've had to put up with. Yes, exactly. Yes, so next week, obviously we're not here Sunday, it's going to be the Monday, it's going to be a wrap-up show live from the Andaz. So I guess we should wrap up as well, Alyssa, maybe.
I think that's our cue. Safe travels, to quote Sarita P. and Karen Sessions and Sam Payne and everybody. Hey, looking forward to seeing everybody.
It's going to be great. So me personally, you can find me social media at Mark_Searby, website marksearby.com, Amazon. If you search for my name, you'll find my book. Hint, hint. Also, sorry, it just reminded me. I'm going to be giving out some stuff around Comic-Con. So if you see me, do tap me on the shoulder and say hi. I may have some left. I've got some set aside for each day. I won't say what it is, but I will be giving some stuff out. So that's me around there.
Book, I bet. Those are heavy to carry around.
I can't comment. No comment, Alyssa. No comment. So
800 pages?
yeah, nearly. Yeah, I mean, that's a suitcase full already, isn't it? Just the 2 books in my suitcase. That's it. So yes, but yeah. So that's where you can find me, Alyssa. Where can we find you?
You can find me on my Twitter handle. I'm going to give a couple more this week, just because everybody needs to stay connected with their smartphone and their and all of that. You can find the forum on Friends of CCI at Friends of CCI is my Twitter handle. You can find the blog. That's Kevin. Kevin manages that Twitter account, and he tends to have a bit more star-related and panel-related information. And that is at Friends of CC blog. You might want to follow him also. You can always find us on the forum and the blog. Get the front page. Everything will get shunted to the front page, all of the major announcements, and that's friendsofcc.com. We do have a Tapatalk link on there, so if you download Tapatalk, you can get into it if you're concerned about downloads and all of that. Tapatalk is an easy way of going if you already have that installed on your phone. Just search for us, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to PM me. Just send me on Twitter, and I'll help you get it all sorted. I think that's it.
Excellent. We should obviously mention Leonard. I know he's not here, but we should probably mention him, I guess. So he's on all of the social medias. MySpace. I think he's on Yahoo forums as well. What is everything from the 90s? He's definitely on all of those. No, he's on Twitter at Englishman SDCC. I think he's on Instagram. He's on Facebook as well. Obviously, the website and EnglishmanInSanDiego.com. I know also he has a Patreon running. So if you do like what Leonard does, then please do subscribe and maybe throw him a few shekels so he can help us help what we do here on the website. I think that's it. Is he anywhere else, Alyssa? I know obviously he's in Anaheim, but
he's everywhere.
Yeah, that's the worrying thing. He's everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah, just type it in the search bar and you'll be able to find it. And if not, ask Mark or me, and we'll link you to him.
We'll point it. Yeah, just look for the guy with the flat cap. That's the easiest thing. That's it. So any
Patreon support is greatly appreciated. He loves coming to this stuff and putting out all of the great information, and any support that he gets, he plows right back into the sites and all of the stuff that he does. So
it does. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, that would be great. So yeah. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. San Diego, 3 days, 13 and something hours. It's going to be chaos, but it's going to be exciting chaos. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, follow all the social medias. We'll keep you updated as to how it goes. And if you're out there, do say hello, because we're always about. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Sounds wonderful. Bye.
Bye.